we're in the last few days of West End reads, and then it's December, and I'm feeling rather festive. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is the start of a new weekly reading vlog. Actually, this should be a Vlogmas video. I'm not sure what day we're on a Vlogmas at the minute because I do not have my spreadsheet to hand and I can't figure out what day of the week. Is it the 7th that this is going up? It's a Wednesday, whatever date the Wednesday is. Anyway, I'm going to be posting a new video every day in December up to and including Christmas Day. And yeah, this is one of them. I will have some festive content in this. I mean, I've got a theatre trip in this vlog because I'm going to see Newsies on Saturday with Meg and Tammy Faye and something else on Sunday, but we're not sure what yet. Right now, we're doing the second watch-along of West End Reads, so we're about to start watching the last 5 years. So this is going to be a really, really quick opening clip because I need to get set up to watch it. And yeah, I'm finishing off Poppy War. I've got 20 minutes left of that. And then I may try and read Lore Olympus Volume 3 tonight as well, but I will catch you up on that later. Okay, super quick quiet clip because once again it is like 1 AM and everyone's asleep. I went to the cinema today to see the Matilda musical movie. I will try and remember to give you full thoughts on it tomorrow, but quick rundown. I really enjoyed it. It was a good film adaptation of a musical. I do prefer the stage show though because I just really, really love the staging of that show. It works really, really well in a theatre. Sorry, I've got hair on my face. It works really, really well in a theatre, and I just think there's some of the nuances of it that you're missing in the film version. But I think like if it's your first time seeing the musical, if you're children in particular, I think it's really, really good. But overall, my heart's with the stage show. Reading wise, I finished Poppy War, 5 stars. I read Lore Olympus Volume 3 this morning before work, also 5 stars. And I started the audiobook of Viper, and I've started the Sunbearer Trials. I'm hoping to finish both of them tomorrow, but I'll catch you up on that tomorrow. I've just finished editing the first Vlogmas video, which you will have already seen. And now I'm going to go to sleep, so I'll catch you up tomorrow. I did not film a vlog clip yesterday. It is now Thursday and I have things to tell you. Hi, so what did I do? Let's go back to, we'll start with the less, like, me having a nervous breakdown things first. It's a good nervous breakdown, don't worry. Basically, yesterday was the last day of the readathon. I held sprints. I was joined by Meg and Lisa. It was a fun time. I managed to finish some more books. So, was it yesterday morning that I read Lore Olympus? Was that the day before? I honestly can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I think that was the day before. If I haven't told you that I read Lore Olympus, I read Lore Olympus. I finished Viper. I finished the audiobook of Viper. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I just feel like I liked the story and sort of the world building, and also like some of the writing choices that the author made. Don't feel like they fleshed out the characters enough, so I wasn't quite connected to it enough to sort of really get the impact of a lot of the story stuff. But I'm just going to carry on with the series because I think it could go in a really interesting direction. I ended up getting the audiobook for Sunbearer Trials because my mum let me use her account to get an Audible trial, so I managed to get that audiobook. Gave that one 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely preferred it to Lost in the Neverwoods by Aaron Tveit. Definitely more along the lines of Cemetery Boys. I love the characters. I love the trials aspect of it. It's set up like it's in a really good place for the sequel because it's a duology as well. I just had a really good time reading it. I finished that one about midnight last night. And then today I have actually read another book. Well, I've got like half an hour left of the audiobook. I should have finished it by now, but then I got distracted and I will tell you why in a second. So I have listened to the majority of Kiss Her Once For Me, which is one of my most anticipated reads of this last part of the year. It's by Alison Cochrane, who wrote The Charm Offensive. It is a like Christmas rom-com. Basically, its main character called Ellie, who meets this girl one Christmas Eve and has this sort of whirlwind day with her. And then the next morning, something happens and it all goes wrong. A year later, she ends up agreeing to fake marry this guy because of something to do with because there are reasons, but I won't go into it. But she ends up agreeing to fake marry him. She goes with him to his family's house for Christmas and finds out that his sister is actually the girl from the year before. And it was just been so good so far, and I've just got, like, I left it at the third act conflict, but basically at work today something that I had scheduled in got cancelled, which meant that I was just sort of doing like admin stuff on my computer for like 3 hours, which was when I listened to the majority of the audiobook. And then the next thing that I had scheduled started, and I had half an hour left of the audiobook, and I'm like, it's fine, I will read it on the bus home. And then I got distracted, which again I will go into in a minute. But I do see this book being a 5-star. Like, I can't, from where I'm at the minute, I'm so invested in it. Like, I love the characters, I love the humour in it. There's been like many conversations about music. There's particularly like a debate about Taylor Swift that I really enjoyed. It's just been a really good time, so I can't see it not being a 5-star. Let me tell you why I got distracted. So, you may or may not know that my latest musical theatre obsession is Moulin Rouge the musical. So much so that this arrived yesterday, which is a book which is all about the making of the musical. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to see more of it, go and watch my haul that went up last week. But Moulin Rouge, obsessed with it. The film is my favourite film of all time. I've been waiting for them to do a musical for years. They finally did one. I enjoyed the West End version, but I had some issues with the casting, the original West End cast. They've now got a really good West End cast. Jamie Moscato as Christian, fantastic, love him. Still very, very upset though that I was supposed to be going to New York for my 30th birthday, and that trip got cancelled because of the pandemic. And during that trip I was hopefully, I don't know if he would have definitely still been in it, but at the time he was still in the show. The plan was to go and see Aaron Tveit as Christian in Moulin Rouge. Aaron Tveit is a musical theatre performer that I'm very much a fan of. Now, Aaron Tveit left Moulin Rouge earlier on this year. He won his Tony Award, he finished with the show, he left. Derek Lane has been in playing the role. I've seen videos of him. I don't love him quite as much. I'm planning a trip to New York next year, and I was like, maybe we'll go and see Moulin Rouge, maybe we won't. I'm not that fussed. We'll see how it... I'm not that fussed. I really like the West End cast at the minute. So Aaron Tveit is coming back to Moulin Rouge for a limited 12-week run, starting from January the 17th and running up until April the 11th. I was planning to go to New York in May. I may have messaged Meg about him going back into Moulin Rouge, like, as soon as I saw the news. I literally came out of the I literally came out of work, looked at my phone, and it had been announced like 4 minutes before, and it was the first thing I saw on Instagram. And I messaged her and I'm just like, excuse me, like look at this. And her response straight away was, we can go earlier if we need to. So me and Meg are looking at going to New York before April 11th, because there is a chance that I will get to go and see Aaron Tveit as Christian in Moulin Rouge, and I'm not okay with this. Like, Becca's response was most accurate. She was like, well, she said to Meg, she asked us if it would be while we were there, and she said, and if it is, Meg, may the odds be ever in your favour. And then when I explained it is if we go like at least a month earlier than planned, and I said, and we are looking into that right now, she and then I just put in all capital letters in the group chat, and just like, I may get to see him sing El Tango de Roxanne live. And her response was, please take some oxygen with you. Like, I'm not okay. I'm really, really contemplating buying the very expensive can seats on Broadway, and I don't know how Meg feels about this, but I'm tempted to be like, I will buy yours as well. Like, I don't care. Just Aaron Tveit's Christian in Moulin Rouge. I told you I had things to share. I'm gonna keep this in, like, just this. This is how my brain's been for the last few hours. I came home to my mum and I was like, so mother, what do you remember when we were supposed to go to New York? What was the thing I was mainly wanting to see on Broadway? And she was like, Moulin Rouge. And I'm like, and why? Why did I want to go and see that? She went, because somebody was in it. And I'm like, that somebody, excuse me, somebody has a name. And then I explained everything that was happening, and I don't think she quite understands. But Aaron Tveit is back in Moulin Rouge, and I may have a chance to go and see it. That's all. I'm gonna go for now. I'm gonna tidy up. I've just been filming. My wrap up that needs to go up tomorrow, and I've got like an hour's worth of footage, and I need to edit it and get it uploaded. So I'm gonna go and do that now. But thank you for joining my minor breakdown. Bye. Well, it is now Friday evening. I'm really losing track of when I've actually filmed and when I've not filmed for this vlog. I believe the last clip you will have seen will have been me having a breakdown at the possibility of going to New York to go and see Aaron Tveit on Broadway. I say possibility, it's getting more and more likely. Like, me and Meg have looked at days that we can get off work. We've talked about like the logistics of getting the tickets and making sure we leave a day just in case we go and Aaron Tveit isn't on the day that we go, and then we book tickets for like later on in the week, because obviously that's not great if we get there and then he's not on. So like it seems like it could actually happen. We're going to probably be going to see Hadestown when we're there as well, which is also very, very exciting. I say probably, there's no probably about it. We are definitely going to see Hadestown while we're there. But yeah, it should be an exciting time. Hopefully we'll get it booked soon. I am actually seeing Meg tomorrow, so we're going to talk a little bit more when I can speak to her in person. Today has been a strange day. I've been working from home all day, which is not strange, that's normal. But sort of during the afternoon, my work day, I went on some like non-live sprints. So basically just like a video call with a bunch of people. So it was Tori, Liv, Catherine, Siobhan, Andy, Marloose, and then I think Meg came on after I left. There's been a group of us anyway, just kind of keeping each other company throughout the day. It did mean that I was possibly like less productive than I wanted to be, like in general, because like I sort of finished work, I was like doing my work while I was supposed to be, and then when I finished work I was like, I've got a list of things that I'm going to do, and then that was the time when we sort of just sat chatting for like at least an hour. So I did kind of take myself out. I'm like, I really need to go and do stuff because I'm going to London tomorrow and I need to get stuff done, because I had videos that needed to be edited and uploaded and things like that. I did also want to wrap like all the Christmas presents that I've got tonight, and I've not got around to that. I have 2 that I need to wrap for tomorrow because I'm meeting up with Becca, so I can give Becca her present and then also give her Liv's present, because I believe Becca and Liv are seeing each other in a couple of weeks. They have a Christmas thing that they do every year, so I'm going to give Becca Liv's present just to make it easier and not have to like post it or anything. So I'm going to do that now. Reading wise, I finished the book that I was reading yesterday. What's it called? Kiss Her Once for Me. I think I said yesterday I had half an hour left of it. I finished it. I've given it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed that book. I'm glad it didn't disappoint because I really, really loved The Charm Offensive, and this, as I've said, was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, so I'm glad it didn't disappoint. I was going to start another book, but then like I said, I've been busy editing and things like that, so I haven't picked anything else up yet. I think what I'm going to do is read another Christmas rom-com, because I have an arc of All I Want for Christmas, and that is on my TBR this month as well. So I'm going to read that on the way to London because I can take it on my Kindle then, so it's a bit easier for travel, and because I'm travelling light because I'm not going to the hotel before we go to the theatre. I don't know why I'm telling you like my entire itinerary, but basically that has been today. I am now watching a Christmas film. I'm watching a Christmas film with Aaron Tveit in it. It's like a crappy Hallmark movie called One Royal Christmas, something like that. One Royal Christmas. He's got a questionable accent in this, but I'm having a good time. He's like the grumpy one in the relationship, and I'm enjoying it. So like I said, what I'm going to do now is wrap those presents. It's like 11:10 at night. I'm going to wrap those presents, finish watching this film, and then I should hopefully be able to get to bed for about midnight. And then I need to leave my house at about 6:45 in the morning because I've got to get the coach to London, because there is planned engineering works on the train line that I would get down to London, which I didn't know like months ago when I booked the tickets for Newsies. Otherwise, possibly wouldn't have booked this weekend. But never mind. I'm very, very excited to be going to see Newsies. It's one of those shows that's like a favourite show that I've never actually been able to see on stage. And now I get to see it on stage, and I'm very excited about it. So I will probably not film anything now until I am actually there tomorrow, and I will film a clip that will inevitably feature Meg. So there we go. That is the plan for tomorrow.
We have a Becca at the Smash. We do also have a Meg who haven't actually said hello yet, but there she is.
Oh god.
All the vlogs out. Becca's just been to C6 and she's having a breakdown as per usual. Hello. Excuse the car noises. We are outside. It's a Meg. We did not update in the hotel room yesterday because we were not actual human beings.
Well, we talked for ages.
Yeah.
We just didn't consider an update.
You know, we
were pajamaed in bed, lights off, like.
I mean, we were being like actual humans and conversing in real life rather than like to a camera. But, you know, it's fine. We went to see Newsies yesterday, which was a good time.
It was so good.
It was very, very good. I'm like very much looking forward to seeing it again, and I feel like she's considering getting tickets to go and see it again. Yeah, there we go. No, I'll give you like actual thoughts on it later on because it's loud. But then we also, so we were supposed to see Tammy Faye last night, and we got an email as I was on the way down here saying that it had been cancelled. So we went to a Christmas concert because why not? It was a West Enders Christmas, so it was like various people from the West End, but most importantly it was Bradley Jaden. That is pretty much the selling point for us. And then Rob Houchin appeared as well.
He did.
It was a good time.
It was a good
Christmas,
time.
especially like the second act got like very happy Christmas.
It was like fun Christmas.
And then we met up with Becca and Smash, which you will have already seen. And today we're going to go and see Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
So
exciting times.
We are both very like alive humans today, as you can tell. I will catch up with you later. It is Monday now. I am obviously home from London. I'm back with my Christmas tree. I didn't actually film many talky bits while we were in London. We kind of got back to the hotel room on Saturday night and stayed up talking for a while, but just neither of us thought to pick up a camera. But you did briefly see Meg in the video. So, rundown of the weekend. I got on a coach very early hours of Saturday morning. I listened to the majority of You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince, the audiobook. I can't remember the author's name, but I listened to the majority of that. I haven't actually finished it. I was enjoying it, like it was a good time, but I wasn't loving it. I feel like it's probably going to be a 3-star. I was thinking 4, but like the fact that I've not wanted to pick it back up when I've only got like an hour left of the audiobook is possibly speaking volumes for it. Like I like the main character. The main character's actually a little bit obnoxious and slightly unlikable, but I like that about them. I just feel like the love interest, like there's not much to them. There's not been that much build up with it. But you know, it's a fun Christmas romance. It's fine. It's doing what it needs to do. So I was happily listening to that. Basically, we were supposed to be going to see Newsies on Saturday afternoon and then going to see Tammy Faye in the evening, which is the show that I saw last month. It's a new show that's on at the Almeida, and actually that's just reminded me I was supposed to phone them up today to sort out a refund, so I need to do that tomorrow. I'll get to why in a second. But it's all about the life of Tammy Faye Baker, who was a televangelist, and I talked about it in a previous vlog when I went to see it last time. I was mainly going to see it because Andrew Rannells was in it, who is a Broadway actor who I really like. And when it originally went on sale, the tickets sold out quite quickly. I missed the tickets, and then they put like a block of sort of the restricted view seats and things on sale like closer to the time. And I'd messaged Meg to see if she wanted to go this weekend, but at the same time I'd sort of also asked my mum if she wanted to go and see it because she'd mentioned that she may want to see it, and they both said yes. So I was just like, right, I'll go and see it twice, it's fine. Meg was like less necessarily wanting to see it, but was more like, well, probably shouldn't miss it, so why not? As we were on our way down to London, or as I was on my way down to London, actually no, Meg was as well, she was on a train, I was on a coach, I got an email saying that the show had been cancelled that evening, that it was due to illness in the cast. I know that the lead actress, Katie Braben, had been off the day before, maybe even the last 2 days before, but I'm guessing that whatever illness it is has spread amongst the cast, so there wouldn't have actually been enough performers to perform the show, because then a couple of nights before they'd had the understudies on, but obviously if it gets to a point where there are too many people off, there aren't enough covers to do the show. So I'm assuming that's what happened, because it was actually the last performance of it. Actually, I can't imagine that they would have cancelled it unless it was like unable to put on completely. So then we had to get last minute tickets for something else. And we did look at like going to see a show. We looked at potentially going to see Wicked in the hopes that Lucy Jones was in it, because when I went to see it the other week, she wasn't actually on. It's a good thing we didn't get the tickets for Wicked, because it turns out she wasn't on Saturday night. But obviously, like the rush tickets for most things had already gone at this point. And we weren't really sure what to go and see. And then I mentioned that there was a Christmas concert. There was West End actors doing a Christmas concert, and one of the actors in it was Bradley Jaden, who is the person that we've both seen in Les Mis and very, very much enjoyed. So we ended up buying tickets for that. It was at the Cadogan Hall. Everything should have been fine. So we should have had like an hour and a half to travel, and it was a 45-minute journey. We should have had that long between shows. When we got to Newsies started 20 minutes late. The interval then ran long, and I think the show then ran long, and then there was delays on the tube. So we ended up having we got into the concert as it was starting. Like literally the first song was starting as we walked into the actual like seating bit. And yeah, that was stressful. But although Newsies put us back for the day, well worth it. Like if I was going to miss a bit of anything, I'm glad it was a Christmas concert, because I'm just glad that I was there to witness everything about Newsies. It was so good. Like when Newsies first got announced in London, I was a little bit worried about, I don't know why, for some reason I just sort of wondered whether they'd sort of changed too much from the original production, because that is always a worry when it's like a few years after something has been on, whether someone's going to come in and be like, I'm going to put my own stamp on it, and sometimes it works really well and sometimes it really doesn't. One of the shows that makes me worry about this is Rent, for example. There's been quite a few different productions in the UK of Rent. Some of them have really worked and some of them it just really haven't. I believe there was one where they tried to set it in modern day at the time, which was the early 2000s, and set it in London, which for anyone who knows the story of Rent, it is very much a show set in the late 80s, early 90s in New York. It's about the AIDS crisis and it's about New York City. It makes no sense to do those changes, but they tried. And I was just a bit worried that they'd potentially change too many things about Newsies, and considering it was the first time I had a chance to see it on stage, that would have really upset me. And what I kind of forgot is it's a Disney property, so there is only so much you can change, because Disney will not let you, which is a very good thing, because the costuming was the same, which I know isn't that important necessarily, but it was nice to see Catherine come on in the dresses I know her as, because I was oh, it's actually happening. I'm finally getting to see it. The staging was different, but because it took advantage of the theatre that it was in. So basically the stage was in the round, and they were literally without going too much into it, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's maybe going to see it, those Newsies were using every single part of that theatre, and it was just so good. The way that it was all staged was so good, and obviously the dancing was spectacular. It's what you expect from Newsies. I honestly do not understand how that ensemble were able to do all those dance routines, land a jump, and then go straight into singing. I don't understand how anyone's able to do it, because singing as well was fantastic. The harmonies, Newsies has got so many ensemble numbers, and the harmonies that were happening there was just so good. The lead actors, I did enjoy the Jack Kelly that we had. I do know his name and it's gone from my head. It begins with, his first name's Michael and I can't remember his surname, but I've seen him in Legally Blonde as Emmett and I really loved it as Emmett, and I like his acting, some of his acting choices that he made in the show. I feel he's going to get stronger the longer he's in this role. It felt like he was possibly a little bit nervous doing some of the bigger songs at times, which is understandable. To be honest, they'd only done a few performances when we went to see it. It was still in the first week, it's still in previews, so I'm not gonna I don't need this to be I don't do reviews on this channel, but you know what I mean, I don't need to be a review of his performance, because it's not even officially opened yet. But I'm intrigued to see it again. I'm going again in January, because I really feel the longer he's in this role, the stronger he's going to get. Bronte Barbie as Catherine, I really loved. I've seen her perform songs before at West End Live and things, but I've never seen her in an actual role, and she was just as good as I expected to be. I really loved her version of Watch What Happens. She made some acting choices that were different from what I'm used to seeing when I've seen Cara Lindsay do it, but worked really well for the song. So yeah, just had a great time all around, in case you can't tell. I'm very happy that I have already got tickets to see it again, and I feel I will want to see it at least another time after that. And to be honest, hopefully it ends up having a life beyond this run, although I can't imagine it transferring to a theatre on the West End, because like I said, it's made so much use of this particular theatre and how big the stage is. I can't imagine it in more like of a traditional setting. There's only a few theatres, I think, where you could potentially actually put the production on. Like, I was talking to Meg about it after, and I said, like, maybe the Julian Lynn where Cinderella was on, because that had quite a big stage as well, and they managed to do some interesting things to the stage when that was on. But yeah, like, honestly, it's just so good. So good. The Christmas concert was an enjoyable time. So the main singers were Bradley Jaden, Louise Dearman, Rachel John, Joe Harper-Jackson, John Owen Jones, and was that everyone? I think it was. Matt Lucas was hosting it, and then there were guest performances from a couple of people whose, again, mostly names I can't remember because they weren't like advertised as much, but I do remember Rob Houchen came on because I love him. He's my favourite Marius that I've ever seen in Lilies, and he actually like runs the company that put on the concert, so he came on and did one song. The first act, it did feel a little bit like more somber. It was like the slower Christmas songs, and it was sort of people just showing off that they could do really good vocals, which always a good time, obviously. But the second act, they were sort of like, okay, we know you're here to have a good time, it's Christmas, so they did like the faster ones and were encouraging people to get up and dance, and it was just fun. It was nice to like go to something that was just Christmassy and get in the festive spirit. We then went and met up with Ash and Becca after they went to go and see Six. We swapped Christmas presents. Becca and Ash have already opened their Christmas presents I gave them. I did tell them they could. They asked, they were like, do we have to wait until, because we're doing like a secret Santa within our friend group, but then we've all ended up buying presents for each other anyway, and we're supposed to be opening them all like on like a backstage StreamYard thing in a few weeks. And I was like, well, these presents aren't secret Santa presents, so technically you don't have to wait until that day. So they were like, right, we're impatient, we're going to open now. I'm like, fine, you do you. I'm going to save mine till Christmas, although I did end up coming home to a gift from Lisa that I opened because it wasn't like gift wrapped or anything. So I was, and I'm expecting some parcels myself, and it was just in like a brown envelope with my address on it. And I was like, this could be something that I've ordered. So I've opened that. I'm not going to show you what it is because I'll do like an actual like Christmas gift thing after we've done the unboxing of Christmas presents, and I'll show you them. But it's a nice theatre related gift, and I'm very, very happy with it, so thank you, Lisa, for that. I'm jumping around all over the place in timeline here. On Sunday morning, we woke up and we got rush tickets for Pretty Woman. Now, Pretty Woman is a musical that I have had like passing interest in. Like, I kind of wanted to see if it was any good, but I don't particularly love the film. And I've just like never found myself like desperate to see it when I've been in London. There's always been other things that I wanted to see instead. But then Courtney Bowman has recently gone into the cast as Kit DeLuca, and I really, really like Courtney Bowman. And basically we were supposed to get Lion King tickets on Monday, and the Disney like day tickets that they do on Mondays at 12 p.m. And we both just kind of forgot to try and get them until they basically sold out. So we decided to try and get rush tickets for something instead, and when we looked at what shows were available, Pretty Woman was the one we could agree on. So we went to see that. It was fun. Like, that's the best thing I can say about it. Like, the songs are not going to be songs that I listen to afterwards. Like, there's only really one that I can remember off the top of my head. It's not a cast recording that I'm going to listen to. Well, I say that, I do want to listen to it once because I want to hear Samantha Barks sing the songs. The cast was good. We had the cover for Edward. It's normally Danny Mac, he wasn't on that day, but we did have Amy Atkinson as Vivian. I really like Amy Atkinson. She's from the original West End cast of Six. She's the original Catherine Howard, and I like her as a performer, so that was fine. Courtney Bowman was fantastic. She was probably my favourite thing in it, so I am glad that when I've gone to see it, I've seen her in it. But yeah, it's not one I'll rush to go and see again at any point, but I'm glad that I have seen it. I've sort of like got it out of my system now. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that happened, other than me and Meg just like planning our New York trip. Like, today we've sort of got looked at like we've started actually looking at prices of things. We've started requesting leave off of work, and it seems like I may actually be going to see Aaron Tveit on Broadway, and that's in my head does not make sense. I'm like, I basically when my trip to New York for my 30th got cancelled, I was bitter about it, but I had sort of reconciled it in my head that this has not happened. This is something you have had to miss. You are not going to see this performance of Christian in Moulin Rouge. And now that is actually possibly going to happen, I'm not going to let myself believe that it's actually going to happen. And this sounds like ridiculous. I'm getting so worked up about this, but I think as well, because this was something that got cancelled because of the pandemic, and this was at the same time as well that I had to sort of move back home from London, and everything just kind of changed a lot that year. the fact that this part of what was supposed to happen that year may actually seem like it may actually be happening is giving me like good feelings about other things hopefully going in the right direction. So getting all like deep at the end of this video, but I am gonna wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye.